Hey guys, so I thought you guys had forgotten about it, but apparently some of you guys remember, so let's do this Q&A. You said you visited so many countries. Which one surprised you the most and expected something completely different? So I have been to around 30 countries and each country is quite special in its own way. And I have so many stories about, different countries. But one thing I remember is I went to Santo Domingo in Dominican Republic and I was staying in this flat and there was this security guard who was from Haiti, but he spoke Spanish and he spoke French as well. So he was quite friendly, so we would talk about stuff once in a while about his life, and that's how I learned that he was from Haiti. But I wanted to call a cab, but I didn't know how, so I asked him to call a cab for me. And he didn't know the address of the flat, but fortunately I had the address written on the paper, so I showed it to him and he said, could you read it for me? And that was when I realized that he didn't know how to read, because I knew, intellectually that there were many people who didn't know how to read, but actually meeting somebody who didn't read was a very interesting experience to me. And I think that kind of stuff makes me want to travel more and to get to know the world and different people and different lives. So that was definitely a very interesting experience. When you speak English, do you hear your own accent? How is the American accent perceived in Japan? Yes, I definitely hear my own accent, and my accent is kind of weird because it's a bit of mix of everything. And my accent changes depending on the person I'm talking to. And American accent is considered quite normal in Japan because when they teach English in school, they teach American English. So, do you know any more languages than Japanese and English? Yes, I do. So apart from Japanese and English, I speak French, Spanish, and a little bit of Portuguese, só pouquinho. French, I used to speak French much better, but I'm forgetting French. Mais je sais encore parler français. J'ai étudié en France pendant 1 an, donc voilà. Where do you get your cat t-shirts from? I am glad that you asked. I love cat t-shirts and I've bought, many of them in my life, but currently I think I have this one, and this one I bought it from a Japanese t-shirts company called Granif. I will put the link in the comment section because they have an English website, so you can order t-shirts from them. And also, okay, this one, I'm wearing it now. I actually made it myself because I wanted to buy some cute cat t-shirts, but it was kind of hard to find, so I decided to make it myself, and I'm actually selling this, so I will also put the link in the comment section, so check it out. I hear Japanese aren't interested in reading manga, watching anime, but I've heard Japanese YouTubers say otherwise. Who's right? Now, what you have to understand is if you grew up in Japan, watching anime is simply inevitable. It's just not possible, not to watch anime when you are a child. You turn on the TV and anime is everywhere. But I think I know what you mean, because there are different kinds of anime. Anime that children watch and like anime that otaku nerdy people watch. So not all Japanese people watch nerdy anime, but I think almost all Japanese people, at least my generation, have watched some kind of anime in their lives. Do you watch anime? If yes, what is 3 animes that you really like and why? Well, I don't really watch anime these days, but obviously I have watched anime and I really liked some of them. So the first one is Neon Genesis Evangelion. and that is like probably one of the best anime I've ever watched, and I can talk about it, for like hours. So, and when I was little, I really liked Doraemon, and Doraemon is super duper popular. When I was a kid, they kind of like changed Doraemon, at some point. So it's quite different from what it used to be, but I really liked the original Doraemon. And I also liked Spirited Away, but everyone likes Miyazaki anime in Japan, so that's kind of given. An honorable mention is the anime I watched the last time and I really liked, which is Puella Magi Madoka Magica. It's if you Google it, it's not what it looks like. It's the content of that anime is completely different from the kind of impression that you have by just seeing these characters. Just watch it and you will know what I mean. The first 2 episodes are very boring, so just make sure that you watch at least until the end of the 3rd episode, and then you can decide if you like it or not. Are you interested in history? If so, what places, time, periods? I'm actually currently very, very interested in history, especially maybe like contemporary history after a World War II, and the periods after that. Because if you look at the Japanese history, World War II is a very, very important event. It kind of shaped the Japanese society and culture that we observe today. It's interesting because I didn't like history at all when I was little, when I was in elementary school, junior high school, and high school, because Japanese people are quite fond of the kind of the 16th century Sengoku period where everyone was kind of fighting against each other, but I wasn't really interested in that kind of stuff. But when I get much older, I realized that to understand the world today, the current affairs and history is often highly relevant. It's just not possible to understand the today's world fully without understanding history. Actually, I'm reading a kind of history book at the moment, which is The Wages of Guilt, Memories of War in Germany and Japan, which is like a comparative study of how Japanese people and German people have been dealing with their past in the World War II. Very interesting, highly recommend it. And also I was very randomly reading this a short history of Ireland today, and I'm also interested in the kind of history you don't necessarily learn in your school, in Western countries, like history of Africa, history of Latin America, or history of Eastern Europe. Oh, today it was like my history day because I was kind of watching this Evita, the film, that not many Argentinian people approve of, but nonetheless it's a very interesting musical, so apparently I'm more interested in Argentinian history. How old are you and how long have you been studying English? So I'm 31 years old. I know I'm not happy with it, but I just can't help it. In Japan, my generation, we started learning English when I was in junior high school, so I was 13, and I have been kind of studying English since then, so it's been many years. But obviously, very few Japanese people actually, they are able to speak English. So, and that means I made some extra efforts, and that's why I speak English. What is the one thing that irritates you more than anything? I ask since you seem pretty laid back and mellow. Well, actually, there are many things that irritate me. For example, I don't like getting interrupted, so when I'm focusing on something and somebody interrupts me, that upsets me quite a lot. And what I hate most is when somebody interrupts my sleep. When I'm sleeping, I want to sleep. It's very frustrating, you know, to be woken up by somebody. Alright, so if you have more questions, just ask me in the comment section, and if I get enough questions, I will probably make a second Q&A video, and if I don't, I will pretend like I never said this.